Hey guys, welcome. We're going to work today towards a fun balancing backbending posture called Ardha Chandra Chapasana or sugar cane pose. And I think when we work towards these peak postures, it's a really good reminder of favoring the process over the product. Sometimes we can get caught up right on getting the pose or things having to be perfect at the end point when really we know that all the work that we do to get there, whatever that might be, is really what's so beneficial for the body, for the mind, because the pose itself, right, might be just really fleeting, this moment that we get to. And so we work on all the pieces that may or may not help us to get into the pose, but over time, that repetition really is beneficial in the body. So if you have a couple blocks, grab those. We're actually going to jump right in and start in downward facing dog. So you can root through your hands, lift your hips, take your feet about hip width apart, find that stability. You might even take a little or a bigger bend in your knees today. And then just really take a moment to settle into the foundation. And so take your hands wide enough so that your collarbones feel spacious. And then it really feels like you can root down into your hands and your fingertips. I like to think about spreading out wide through the fingers so they're like a fan, and then pressing down through all 10 fingertips. And then as you press into your hands, lift your hips up and back. Press down into your feet, right? Root your heels to or towards the ground. They might not touch. That's all right, just sending them in that direction. As you lift your kneecaps up towards your thighs. And so rooted through hands and feet, whatever's touching. Long through your spine. And then let your chest start to soften back towards your thighs, right? So there's a strong support system and then a little softness through the torso. Roll the eyes of your elbows up and stay strong through arms. And then just take a few breaths. It might even feel good to take a couple breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth, big cleansing breaths. And then to start to find a rhythm of breath that feels good. We'll work a little bit with some sun salutations just to get that cadence of the breath going this morning, get everything working this morning, this afternoon, whenever. This morning for me right now. Right, down dog it's sometimes called a resting pose, which I get it's different from other things, but a really great core stabilizer. We start to warm everything up, right, in a simple but really strong posture. So we'll work a little bit with core to help with balance. Get thighs open, back bend action moving today. So all these pieces just start to come together as we work towards that peak pose. Good. Take another full breath. And then with your next inhale, just nice and slow, slide forward, high plank. Right, come forward where shoulders are over wrists, and if you have to make that a little bit longer, do that. And then with your exhale, come back again, down dog. See if you can just start to match this with your breath, so it's nice and slow and steady. Inhale, come forward. Think about it like a wave through the back body. Let your head be the last thing to arrive. And then nice and slow, lift your hips, come back, down dog. Let it take that full length of your exhale. Good. A couple times like that. Inhale, side forward, high plank. And then exhale, down dog. Good. One more, right? Shoulders are probably starting to build a little heat, right? As you come forward, feel that tone and lift of the low belly and keep that as you come forward into plank. And then back up into down dog with your exhale. This time with your inhale, lift up onto your toes. Bend your knees as you exhale, look forward, and then walk your feet to your hands. Come to the front of your mat. You can do big toes together, feet hip width apart. And you might have a little bend in the knees if that feels better on the back body early in practice. And then go ahead, bring your hands to your hips. And think with your hands there, press down from your hips into your feet to strengthen your legs. And then use that inhale, come all the way up to standing. Exhale, bring your hands together at your heart. Good. With strong legs, tone your belly. Draw your shoulder blades back and down, right? So get them out of the ears and then lengthen up through the crown of your head. Stand tall and long. Full breath in. Full breath out. And to start to follow your breath rhythm, inhale, reach both arms up. Keep your spine long. Exhale, fold forward. Lift halfway, take a breath in. You can keep hands to mat or shins or even thighs. And then exhale, fold. Right? Legs strong, knees bent or straight. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands together at your heart. Right? Setting that rhythm of breath. Reach up, inhale. And fold forward, exhale. Lift halfway, take a breath in. Exhale, fold. Step your left foot back. Bring your left knee down to the mat. Good. Inhale, bring both arms up overhead. And then as you exhale, let your hips start to settle forward just a little bit, right? It's early in practice. As you inhale, hug your inner thighs towards one another. And then exhale again, maybe hips come just a little bit further forward. That might be millimeters. Inhale, reach both arms up, get long. And then exhale, both hands down to your mat. Lift your back knee, step back, high plank. Take a full breath in. And then with your exhale, either with bent knees or with straight legs, come all the way down. Point your elbows straight back. Untuck your toes. Inhale, lift up, head, chest, shoulders, cobra pose. Stay light through your hands. Use the strength of your back. Exhale, lower down. Might just be a little bit. You might come a little higher. Just depends on your body today. Inhale, lift up, head, chest, shoulders. Keep pressing the tops of your feet down. Exhale, lower down. One more, float up. Inhale, strong through the back, light through your hands. Point your elbows straight back. Exhale, lower. And stretch back down dog. Full breath in. Full breath out. Inhale, reach your left leg up and back. Think straight and strong. Exhale, step all the way through. And then bring your right knee down. Inhale, both arms up overhead. Good. Exhale, let the hips soften forward just a hair. Inhale, squeeze the inner legs to center. And then with that support, exhale, do the hips come forward just a hair more. Inhale, reach both arms up. Exhale, hands down to your mat. Inhale, lift your back knee. Exhale, take a big step forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Fold, exhale. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands together at your heart. Good. Sweep up, inhale. Fold forward, exhale. Let's follow your breath rhythm. It might be a little different. Halfway lift, inhale. Think long through your spine, strong through your legs. Exhale, fold. Step your right foot back again. Right knee down to your mat. And then this time, slide your hips back. Bring your front leg to or towards straight, Ardha Hanuman. You might even wiggle your heel just a little bit further forward. Grab blocks here under your hands if it feels like the mat's really far away. And then flex your front foot. Press your left heel down and give it a little traction back. Right? Then you can extend the crown of your head forward as you soften your chest towards your leg. Take a breath. And then inhale, come forward, bend your front knee, lift your back knee, step back, high plank. Right, really strong through hands and arms, just like we had in down dog before. Stay toned and lifted through your belly. And then with your exhale again, lower all the way down, bent knees or straight legs. Good. This time, reach your arms straight back, turn your palms down. Anchor the tops of your feet, take a full breath out. Inhale, lift up, this time head, chest, arms float as well. Reach your fingertips back. Exhale, lower down. Good. Inhale, head, chest, arms, right? Strong through the back of my neck, lift as high, just getting that strength turned on. Exhale, lower. One more little float up, inhale. Hug shoulder blades together and then reach fingertips back. And exhale, lower down. Bring hands by your sides. Stretch back, down dog. And this time, inhale, reach your right leg up and back. Exhale, step all the way through. And bring your left knee down and then slide your hips back, Ardha Hanuman, second side. Right, and you want to keep your left hip more or less stacked over your left knee. So if that means bringing your right foot forward a little bit, do that. And then flex your foot, root down into your heel. Right, imagine you could just drag the heel back, but don't let it move. Right, and as you drag the heel back, stretch the top of your head forward. Right, and then maybe you fold in a little bit more. Maybe you stay pretty upright. Notice, see how hamstrings and low back feel today. Take a full breath. Good. Inhale, come forward, bend your front knee, and then plant your hand. This time, go ahead, step back, down dog again. Take a breath. Okay, left side, inhale, left leg up and back. And then as you exhale, bend your knee, stack your left hip on top. Right, and so you're gonna flex your foot here. Press the sole of your left foot back. Right, so really getting into this shape that we're gonna work towards with this back bending thigh opening. But then make a little adjustment here. Lift up from the underside of your right shoulder. So you get a little bit more opening in front of the hip and not just the shoulder. And just like we did before, again in down dog, stay rooted through your hands. So you press the mat down and forward. Good. Maybe then the foot comes back just a hair more, starting to prep that back bend. Good. Inhale, come back to center, square off your hips. And then exhale, step all the way through. And turn your back heel down. And with your inhale, come all the way up, warrior two. And just take a moment to find your stance. Nice and long front to back so that your front knee is over your ankle or even back a little bit. You can turn your right toes in just slightly. Sometimes that helps the angle of the hips. And then bring your arms out wide. Good. Let's actually do this one here. Take your hands behind you, interlace your fingers. I like to keep a little bend in the elbows. Sometimes it helps to work your palms together. Okay, and then with your foundation, squeeze your heels towards one another. Press down into your feet. And I feel like you could pull your elbows apart and let the chest start to broaden. So you're just creating that space across the front of the chest, going to be really beneficial in our back bend later on. Right? It's actually really beneficial now. Here's a good example of just enjoying the process that it's in. Yes, it'll help later, but it actually really even just is great now. Right? Those pieces we start to use over and over again that open up parts of the body that tend to be a little bit more closed in. Okay, next inhale, release your hands, straighten your front leg. And then as you exhale, hinge forward, come down triangle. I love to use a block here. If you want a little bit more support, you can do that, or even bring a hand to your shin. Keep that strength of the legs squeezing together and the root down into your feet. Good. And then start by reaching your top hand up, but then just a little adjustment, turn your palm back, bend your elbow and reach around. Right? So just this half bind again, these movements over and over that create a little bit more space. And start to work the spine a little bit more into back bending. Really nice, especially if you tend to hunch over a little bit more during the day. Right? So we do in so many ways, computer work, forward motion of the day. So enjoy the space it creates in the opposite direction. Okay, inhale, reach your right arm up. And with your exhale, circle both hands down to your mat. Step back, high plank. This time let's hold for a couple of breaths so you can keep knees up or bring knees down for a little bit more support. All right, find that same strong root of your hand. So with your fingers spread wide, fanned out, press down into your fingertips. Roll the eyes of your elbows forward and stay toned through your belly. Take a breath in. And then with your exhale, lower all the way down. Bent knees to lead or straight legs. Sometimes the bent knees is really nice for support. And hands back by your sides again. All right, this time option to lift the legs if it feels good. Right? Sometimes it's really nice to keep the feet rooted, feel what's good in your body. Take a full breath out, tone through your belly. And then inhale, lift up, head, chest, arms, maybe legs as well. And hold wherever you're at. Keep the back of your neck long, right? So if it feels like you're looking forward, can you look down in front of your mat instead? Hug your shoulder blades in and reach your fingertips back. Good. And then feel like you could draw a line from your heels up towards your sitting bones, strengthen along the back of the body. Good. Full breath in. And then exhale, lower all the way down. Hands by your sides. Stretch back, down dog. Okay, second side here. Inhale, reach your right leg up and back. And then exhale, bend your knee, open the hip. And so go ahead, flex your foot. And really press back through your heel. Send your left heel to or towards the mat. And then lift a little bit from the underside of your left shoulder. So it feels more like you're working towards square hip or square shoulders. And then you can press the right foot back. Stay strong through your hands. And inhale, come back to center. And then exhale, step your foot all the way through. And turn your back heel down. Come on up, warrior two, second side. Right, adjust the stance. Find the foundation that feels strong. Everything else is going to stack from there, so we find that first. Right toes forward, left toes turned in just an inch or so. And then you can bring your arms out wide, inhale. Take them behind you, exhale. And then just take the opposite clasp, so the other finger on top, the one that usually feels a little bit awkward. Take that little bend in your elbows, so you can start to work the heels of your hands towards one another. Good. Give a little squeeze of your heels to center. Right, get low enough into your front knee. So it just feels like a little bit of a challenge. We're not straining, but you can feel the effort. And then press even a little more firmly into the pinky edge of your front foot. Good. Traction your elbows apart, like you could pull them out to the sides and feel what that does for the space in your chest. Right, if it feels like the shoulders are creeping up, let them soften down and breathe. And with your next inhale, unwind your hands and straighten your front leg. And then exhale, hinge forward, come out on triangle, second side. Hand to shin or ankle, maybe mat if it works. All right, and then start by reaching your top arm up. So we want to get the length and roll the ribs up, open up through your chest. Then turn your palm back, bend your elbow and reach around. And your hand might come to the low back. You might even just bring it to your hip if that feels good. Might wrap around towards the crease of your front thigh. Right? But wherever you're, see if you can create a little bit more space in the chest. Sometimes here our tendency is to want to reach all the way down to the ground and then the chest caves in. Favor keeping the chest open. Right? Sometimes it helps to draw your left shoulder blade in towards your spine to guide the chest up. Good. Inhale, reach your right arm up. Exhale, circle your hands down to your mat. Step back, down dog. Okay, let's get into the shoulders and a little bit of core stability here, these little breaks we get in between. So go ahead and walk your feet together behind you so big toes come together to touch. And then take your right hand forward a little bit. Really root down through the fingertips And then roll onto right hand, outer edge of right foot, Vashisthasana side plank. All right, some great options here. You could step the top foot in front. It's going to give you a little bit more stability. We're still really working into building that core stability, which is so good for balance. Or you could keep legs stacked. You might even bring the bottom knee down, right? Lots of variations here. You find what works for you, right? Just building towards, right? Building the strength that gets us maybe towards the pose. Full breath in. And then exhale, both hands down. Lift your hips, down dog. Take a breath between sides. And then bring your feet together. Again, that just helps the feet to stack or legs to stack. Walk your left hand forward a couple of inches. And really root through the fingertips. Find that stability first. Then roll onto left hand, outer edge of left foot. Right, see what variation works on this side. It might be different side to side. Sometimes, especially if we have shoulders, stop side to side. Press your left hand down and forward. Lift your hips. Keep your inner legs strong if they're stacked. And breathe. Good core stability and a lot of balance going on right here. Full breath in. And then exhale, both hands down. Lift your hips, down dog. Take a breath in. And then exhale, child's pose, big toes together. Hips back. Bring your forehead to or towards the mat. Take a couple breaths. Just starting to listen to notice, right, what's working. What are we prepping as we work towards this pose? But what are the benefits right now in the moment? Whether we get to that pose or not, right? How the legs feel, how does the core feel, how does the chest feel? The benefit is in the whole process along the way. From child's pose, go ahead, press back, down dog. With your next inhale, slide forward, high plank. And take a moment again, find that root of your hands. Tone and lift through your belly. And keep the top of your head stretching forward, especially if it feels like your chin is just sagging down towards your chest. Full breath in. And then with your exhale, lower all the way down to your belly. It's from here, go ahead and roll up onto your left side and prop your head up in your hand. Okay, so the goal here is to line up. Sometimes it takes a little wiggling around. Shoulders, hips, and feet. Right, I can usually tell if it's lined up pretty well if I can look down and just kind of see my toes peeking out. It's all going to be a little bit different. The other way to know is that if things are lined up really well, it's going to feel wobbly. Right, so we're going to work here with some prep poses of the legs, but these are also really good to help stabilize these deep intrinsic muscles of the core. Okay, so flex your feet, press down through the outer edge of your bottom foot, right? So you really feel that leg engage. And then just keep your top hand in front to start with. Give a little lift through your belly. And then go ahead and just lift the hand. If things start to wobble, great, right? That means it's working. If it feels really stable, right, you might have super strong core muscles. You might also just check to see, are your feet kind of cheating by pressing back or forth? Yeah, it's one of those like subtle, but everything's really working deep inside. Okay, and then bring your hand back down to the mat for a moment. Couple options. You can stay right here if this feels like this is enough. We're going to work the legs into a different variation. Right? You'll bring your right knee in and then stretch your leg up towards the ceiling. Right? And if you're like, my hamstrings don't agree with this, you might be out a little wider. You might just keep the leg bent, right? Find the variation that feels like it works for you. The idea here is this is part of the shape of half moon pose. We're just prepping the legs with some core stability. Right, so flex both feet. Sometimes here the hips want to go way back. So give the hips a little encouragement forward. That's going to challenge the balance again. You might keep fingertips to your mat, or you might again challenge the balance a little bit by lifting your fingertips up. It's amazing sometimes even just what one or two fingers can do. Keep pressing through the outer edge of your bottom leg. Ooh, breathe. And then bend your knee. Bring both feet back down. Good. Roll to your stomach and just switch sides. I'm going to come to the other side of the mat. You can just roll one side or the other, but if it's helpful to see, you can do that too. Okay, so I'm just going to prop my head up in my hand. Okay, so it looks like we're just lying here, but can feel how much is happening. Line up shoulders and hips and feet. You can keep your hand down for a moment, flex your feet. Press through the outer edge of your right foot, so that bottom foot. And just think about that like an anchor, a little bit more stability. And then you might just play with taking your left hand up a little bit and see what happens. Are things wobbling? Or does it feel like you can hug in a little bit more to center to find some more stability? Okay, right. And then choices. Stay here or work the leg variation. I think it's nice sometimes to bring the hand down so you can get there, but up to you. Bend your knee, lift your leg up, right? Wherever up is, you might keep a little bend if that's helpful. Flex your foot, right? And think about turning your heel more in towards the center instead of letting it come out. If you let the heel come out, the butt comes out with it. So as you turn the heel in, that's going to encourage the pelvis forward as well. So we get these nice stacked lines through the legs, right? And still I can feel my hips are wanting to come back. So I'm going to encourage the pelvis forward, right? Because otherwise my body's cheating a little bit. The hips are going to take some more of the weight. Maybe you lift your left hand. Keep pressing down through your bottom leg and up through your left heel if that's lifted. Good. Full breath in. And then slowly lower your leg down. Roll through your stomach. Good. Bring your hands by your sides and then stretch back down dog. You might even take a moment to just pedal out through your knees. Find a little movement. And then we're going to take that shape and then work it into balance in a little bit different way. Okay, so inhale, reach your left leg up. Exhale, step your foot all the way through. If you liked to have your block for triangle, have that close by. Turn and plant your back heel. Come on up, warrior two, but go ahead to start by straightening the front leg. Find a stance that works well for you. Feels steady and strong. Start with your arms out wide. Full breath in. And then exhale, hinge forward, come on down, triangle. And if you do use the block, it's kind of nice to have it just outside that lower part of your shin. Can help to line up the arms a little bit better there. Okay, so if you think about here is really similar to that shape we just did lying on our sides. One leg rooted, the other leg a little bit longer, right? Moving straight in that direction. Then we're going to kind of switch which way the legs go. We'll work into this first variation of half moon pose. So bring your hand to your hip, look down at your foot, and then take a step in with your back foot. Walk your front hand forward so it's underneath your shoulder. I'm going to bring my block with me. You could also bring your hand all the way down to the mat. What feels good for support? And then inhale, reach your right leg up. Good. Flex your foot. And then turn your heel down towards the ground. Right? That may start to open the hip a little bit more and line up the pelvis just like we just did on our sides. You can keep your hand to your hip or reach your top arm up. Good. Really press down into your left foot. So think that same strength in your legs that we had in like warrior two. Keep your right foot flexed. Right leg strong, just like when you're lying down. Think towards straight and strong. And then roll your right shoulder blade back. Whew. Might start to shift the balance a little bit. I'm just working towards keeping the chest a little bit more open. All of those pieces starting to work together. One more full breath in. And then with your exhale, bend your front knee. Take a big step back, warrior two. Good. Inhale. And then exhale, circle your hands down to your mat. Step back, down dog. Take a breath. Inhale, reach your right leg up and back. Exhale, step all the way through. And turn your back heel down. Come on up, warrior two. And then straighten the front leg. Arms out wide, inhale. And then hinge forward, come down, triangle, exhale. Right, root through both feet. Open through your chest. Right, and just feel the shape of your legs. Right, we're basically just going to keep that and tilt it forward into balance. Sounds easy, right? Left hand to your hip, look down. And then take a step in with your back foot. Walk your right hand forward so it's under your shoulder. That lineup's going to help with balance. And then lift your left leg up. Flex your foot. Turn your heel down, toes up. It's not going to go straight down, just working it in that direction to open the hip. Right, really press down into your right foot. You can even just gently draw the left shoulder blade back. Right, so it feels like you're not collapsing forward, but just staying open. Find your breath. And just notice those different pieces that we've been working on. How do they start to come together here? Good. Full breath in. And then exhale, bend your front knee. Step all the way back, warrior two. Inhale. Exhale, circle your hands down to your mat. Step back, high plank. Root through your hands. Full breath in. And then with your exhale, come down forearm plank, elbows under shoulders. And just keeping the core stable, turned on, really helpful with balance. And just really helpful in life to have stability through our core. Doesn't mean a six pack, just means it supports us. Inhale. Exhale, lower all the way down. Okay, similar action here. You're going to roll to your left side. Prop your head up in your hands. Line up. Shoulders, hips, feet. Good. Flex your feet. And so little different variation with the top leg here, but find the stability. Root down through your bottom foot. And then this time, bend your top knee. Reach up through your right hand. Reach back. So here's the thing. For some of us, the hand and foot don't want to connect. Well, it depends a lot on length of arms and legs. All right, space in the front of the hip and the thigh. So a couple options. You might just reach back for the foot. All right, we're going to mirror this when we get into the next one too, so you'll have the same options. You might also bring your knee in. This is going to unplug the pose a little. Then get your foot and then start to press back. Keep your inner legs working towards one another. They don't have to touch, just in that direction. Press through your bottom leg. And then press your hand and foot into one another. Let the hips come forward a little bit. Right, so there's this little bit of a counterbalance of hips forward and then hand and foot pressing together as the head and shoulders come back a little. Right? We're still really working with balance, and you might decide to stay here when we do the next pose, right? Working towards that sugar cane pose, because we're still getting that whole process and working the pieces. Okay, slowly release. Roll to your stomach. Come on to the other side, or again, if it helps to move, kind of like I'm doing to the other side of the mat so you can see, do what works best for you. Prop your head in your hand. Line things up. We're getting used to that. Stabilize the bottom leg. And then bend your top leg, reach, right? Maybe they just go in that direction. Maybe hand and foot touch. Maybe unplug a little bit to get the foot, what helps. Right? We're just, each time we do that, we're building towards maybe a little bit more space in the thigh and the hip, which is beneficial in general. and helpful with the pose we're working towards, right? So we get both sides of that. Okay, root down. Press foot and hand together if they're connected. And then let the hips come forward a little bit as you lean the shoulders and the head back just a hair. What feels wobbly? Where can you root and hug in to help with a little bit more stability? And then slowly release. Roll to your belly. Stretch back, down dog. Okay, so we're going to take this into the standing balance. If it feels good for you, like you want to stay lying down and work that variation again, it's an awesome option. Or just play a little bit with it from standing. So let's go right side first. Inhale, right leg up and back. Exhale, step all the way through. Turn the back heel down. Come on up, right? So all these same prep we've been doing. Inhale, straighten your front leg. Exhale, hinge forward, come on down. And just take a moment to land. Feel the steadiness with both feet. Take a breath. And then bring your hand to your hip. Look down. And walk your back foot in, your right hand forward. Lift the back leg up. And turn your heel down, open your hips. And you might have a block underneath your right hand. That might be nice for a little bit more support. Reach your left arm up. And then just like we did lying down, bend your top leg. Reach back, right? So hand and foot might connect. You might just reach in that direction. Or you might even bring the knee forward a little bit. Get the foot or the ankle and then go back. Press down into your right foot. And then press left hand and left foot into one another. Let the hips come forward a little. The heart open. And draw your left shoulder blade back. Breathe. And inhale, release the foot slow and controlled. Exhale, bend your front knee. Step back, warrior two. Full breath in. And then exhale, circle your hands down to your mat. Step back, down dog. Take a breath. Right? The pose itself is fleeting. It's like a moment of the practice. What are all the pieces that you've done that help your body to that pose, but just help your body in general? Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, step all the way through. And turn back heel down. Inhale, come all the way up. Right, so again, if you want to do this on the side again, laying down like we just did, great. Like that repetition of the pose is so helpful. Inhale, straighten front leg. Exhale, hinge forward, come down. And then give yourself that pause in triangle. Anchor both feet. Feel the strength of your legs and open up through your chest. Right, you might just stay here. We know that whether we get to the pose or however the pose works out doesn't really matter. What have you done along the way? Hand to hip, look down. Step your back foot in, walk your left hand forward. And then inhale, reach your left leg up. Nope, right leg up. That'd be fun to do the left. Turn your heel down, toes up, open the hip. Anchor through your left leg. Reach your right arm up. Bend your knee, reach back. What helps you to get the foot or just to move in that direction? And then if you have the foot, press foot and hand together. Let your hips start to come forward a little bit as you lean back. There's that little bit of back bend. Hug your right shoulder blade in and breathe. Right, we can feel that core working to stabilize. Strength of the leg. And the chest opening up the back bend. Inhale, release. With control, exhale, step back. Warrior two. Take a full breath in. And then exhale, circle your hands down to your mat. Step back, down dog. Full breath in. Child pose, exhale. Nice work, guys. Take a couple breaths. Let your breath start to slow down. Notice how your body feels now. Right? Whether that pose worked great or the whole thing fell apart, let it go. So we're always working towards it. What steps did you take along the way that feel really beneficial? And then walk yourself up. Slide your hips over to the side. Come all the way down onto your back. Once you get there, bring your knees into your chest. Take a little rock. And then keep your right leg in, stretch your left leg long. And twist. Right knee to your left, right arm out to the side. Yeah, keep that bottom leg strong, just kind of like we did in those side balance poses. Stay long through your right side body. And just a few full, slower breaths. Letting that midsection unwind a little or release. And with your next inhale, unwind, come back to center. Bring your left leg in. And then just switch sides. So keep left knee in, stretch right leg out. And then left knee across your body to twist. Right arm out to the side. You could always slide a blanket or a block or anything you might have underneath the left knee if a little bit more support there would feel good. Look up or look over to the left. And keep your right leg a little active. And lengthen your left hip away from your shoulder, long through your side body. Couple full breaths. And then inhale, unwind. Bring both legs in. And then either you can just take a rock here side to side, make some circles with knees, or happy baby. Bend your knees, take a hold of the outer edges of your feet by bringing your forearms across your shins. And flex your feet. Couple breaths. And then release your feet. Give your legs a little squeeze in. Curl your forehead to your knees. Inhale. And Shavasana, exhale. If you want support under knees or anything under head, take a moment, set that up. Arms where they're comfortable. Close your eyes. And rest. This really is our peak pose. It's what we're always working towards. Right? Each time we get on the mat and practice and put the pieces together, this is where they integrate. Right? This is where all of that settles into your body. And so give yourself these last couple moments of rest. Let go of the practice, what did or didn't happen. Enjoy the sensation of breath. If you're longer, you want to stay and rest, please stay. You're ready to come out. With your inhale, reach your arms up, take a big, long, full stretch. And then as you exhale, draw your knees towards your chest, roll to your side, and press all the way back up to sitting. Bring your hands together at your heart. And sit tall. And think about this as honoring the process, all of the steps along the way. And sometimes it doesn't matter if we get to that final step or not. We put in all the work at each little piece along the way. Thanks so much for sharing the process. Namaste.